say something that you don't believe in, would you consider that a lie?
A white lie, kind of, sort of.
A white lie?
That if it was to keep my relationship with the person in a congenial relationship, I might, but I would still feel a little guilty about it.
Okay. So in a multiple choice test, that's what we see on Scantrons all the time, right?
Yes.
So with a Scantron, is there any kind of room for disagreement?
There can be. I've had tests where I've disagreed with the professor about what his answer versus what my answer was.
But if you disagree with them, then you're getting docked, right?
Yeah, but it's not. If it's just one question out of 20, I'm not going to worry about it.
Okay. So whenever we put gas into a vacuum chamber, that gas expands and fills up the vacuum chamber. It doesn't clump together, right?
Correct.
But NASA claims that gas clumps together in the vacuum of space and gets so dense that it explodes and turns into a star. And that's
due to gravity.
It's due to gravity, but that gravity has to come from somewhere. It has to have mass.
From mass.
And so,
yes.
But the problem is whenever we put gas into a vacuum chamber, that gas expands. It doesn't clump together. And so it can't form the gravity necessary to create the star.
And so, got.
Yeah, what?
I would look at the physics. I can't really answer that question.
Well, the point is that, okay, if that's a test question, this is how stars are formed, and you don't agree with that, are you being forced to lie on that test question in order to get your points?
Well, see, you have a contradiction of subjective answers. Mm-hmm. One being one being another. Whether it's absolute truth or not, I don't know.
Okay, but if you're being forced to say something that you don't believe in, you already agreed that that's a lie, or a white lie at least.
Okay.
So the problem is that we don't have any room for disagreement when it comes to a Scantron, right? We've only got the answers, and only one answer that we are forced to comply with, and if we don't comply, then we get docked. And so that kind of presents a problem. It ends up making the testing system one more about indoctrination than it is education. And so we're kind of looking...
You're mixing up words here.
Okay.
The definition of indoctrination is to be taught.
Uh-huh.
So your definition of indoctrination is different from my definition of indoctrination.
I'll take that, yeah.
Okay. I'm more neutral in the tone.
Okay.
You are using it as something that's not that great a thing to do.
Okay.
Or that you think that indoctrination is based on what someone believes, which may be that so. There are multiple examples through the history of time where a person like a professor in that role thought something was one way.
Yeah.
The student who got more knowledge and expanded what he learned and was able to take in new theories and be able to prove those theories was able to look at it differently.
Yeah. Scientific revolutions take place.
Yes, he was indoctrinated by the professor, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the professor was trying to do something evil.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, we're trying to fix this. And so if we want to accept more an allowance.
You're still trying to say that the test is bad or against or evil because a professor thinks one way it ought to be and the student thinks something else. Therefore, because the student has learned something newer than what the professor has, that person is being punished for disagreeing.
Well, we can say things and reflect that we remember the curriculum, right? We can say, I know the curriculum says this, but I don't agree with this, and so that way you can still get points. But you can also still...
You can always make notes. You could always go talk to the professor afterwards, explain your point.
Yeah, but it's still not right there on the test because you've got to lie for a moment.
A test is a one-point-in-time thing based on two different people's beliefs or knowledge content. And to say that it's bad, I disagree. To say that because you can do something to improve and make things better without calling it bad or evil.
Okay. So you feel very confident in the way things currently are with the Scantron itself.
A Scantron is one form of a test. You don't have to use the Scantron all the time.
Well, as a student, you don't really get a choice.
That is what the professor's job is, to try and make sure that what he or she is teaching is being transferred to the student. And how they do it may be based on numerous different factors, time constraints, size of class, whatever it might be. And if you are trying to say that a student could get away with putting whatever they want on a test on a Scantron because that's how they believe something is, that's not necessarily true either.
Well, I agree. We need to be able to reflect that we paid attention in class. We know the curriculum, but we can say that, but we can also say why we disagree with it. That way we can kind of reflect the professor on some things that we might want to see more strongly emphasized. And so there's a conflict.
And that's the whole process of evolving what is taught. It's all part of it.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with things evolving to better teach or to better pass on knowledge from one person to another. There's nothing wrong with that. So if you have a disagreement based on an answer, that's simple enough to go to the professor and talk to them about it.
Okay.
Indoctrination is the process of teaching a person or group a set of beliefs uncritically. If you are forced to agree with your teacher or get docked, that is indoctrination. Join me. Become a defender of truth by actually getting up and doing something. I've got phone numbers and emails here. Send a text. Send an email, not just to these people, but to your local school teachers and school boards. Write to your state board of education. This problem is everywhere. Defend your right to disagree and have your own beliefs. Together, we can make a difference. Send.